Hello everyone, this is Pawan again and welcome to Widget Academy. So first of all, I'm really sorry for the long delay as I could not upload the videos of our series during the last 2 weeks, and therefore today I'm recording this video as well as I am also uploading the video in the next hour. Okay, so let's get started. At first we will open our Android application, not Android application, the Android IDE, and here I'm using Android Studio, and let us at first open the app. So this is the app, and here I have created a very detailed guide which contains all the steps which we will be requiring now. And the first thing which we will be doing is to complete our checkout page. Okay, so here the first thing that we should do is to visit our website academy.wipotep.com, and then just go to blog section and then simply scroll down, and this is the article sending data from Flutter to MySQL database using PHP. So we have to complete 3 different steps, and you don't have to worry about all the steps because all the codes and all the processes have been discussed in this blog. So the first thing which we'll be doing right now is to create an SQL table, as the data of our checkout page, we will store the data into one SQL table. Okay, so I will open my online server, and then here I will open the PHP my admin part or the database, and in the database I will create one new table called checkout. Okay, you can create the new table called checkout with like this. You can select the databases and select the database where we can work, or where you are designing the backend. And here we have to create one new table. Okay, so for testing purpose I've already created one table called checkout. Let me delete that table, and we have to create one new table, and here we will be storing customer name, customer mobile, customer state, and customer address, these 4 fields. Okay, and there will be one more field for auto increment, so you can do it manually in this way, checkout, and 5 fields should be here, and create, you can do it manually. But to save our time, what we have done is to I have already written the SQL code, and you just go to SQL here and paste the code and hit go. Okay, so we have completed, or we have created the checkout table, and the checkout table contains around 5 columns: ID, checkout name, checkout mobile, checkout state, and checkout address. All right, okay, so we have completed the first step, and if you want to read about the SQL code, I have also written the details about what we have done in the SQL statement. All right, so our next step is to create the Flutter screen called checkout. So in the previous video we have already created one Flutter screen called checkout. I think the screen should be here. So this is the checkout, and in the last video we have already created one checkout table, one checkout page or screen. Now what we have to do is to what I will do, I will remove all the codes, and let us create one stateful widget, and let us also give the name as checkout. Okay, and we have to import the necessary packages like the material design and Cupertino. And okay, so we can see some errors here in the cart page because the name of the screen should be checkout screen, stateful STF checkout screen, and let us import the packages. So all the errors now have been gone. So here the first step which we will be doing is to import a file or import the package of HTTP, as we will be sending the data to our database using PHP. And so we have imported the HTTP here, and we have to also import the home.dart file, as we will be importing some necessary elements from the home page. We will not be importing, but once the user submits his form, we will redirect him to the home screen as of now, but later on we can edit those details. So this is the first step. Now let us scroll down this screen, and we have to create one stateful widget called checkout screen. We have already created the stateful widget here, and then we will be requiring to define the state, and we have to initialize the variables. The first variable which we have to initialize is to create one variable for the form. Okay, and we will be creating one form here. Define all the variables. So the form key, we will use this form key for the form. Okay, and next we will also be, okay, so let's do it in the later part. So at first let us create the form, and now we will be building the scaffold widget and the UI and scaffold. Okay, so we have now we are using the scaffold widget, and inside the scaffold widget we will be updating the app bar, and we will also be updating the body. Inside the body we will be using the single style scroll view, as we have already used single style scroll view in our previous videos. And let us go to code and reformat auto indent lines. Just a minute. Okay, reformat code. Now the indentation of all the files have now been corrected. Okay, so the next step is to create the design of our checkout screen. So let us use one container, and inside the container we will be using margin and edge insights dot all, and here we will be using double value of 30, and now we will be importing one network image, as we have done in our previous class, child dot network image dot network, and here we have to define the source. And if I can remember, the source is something like this, image dot cart, and let us say I can now see the cart is being displayed here. So this is our first container. Then again I will be creating one more container, and inside the container I will be creating one child, and the name of the child will be text, and let us write something in the text like checkout screen. And here I will also be using style and text style, font size will be like 30, and let us check checkout screen. Everything is working fine now. So the next form would be to create our own form, and let us create the form. And at first let us define the key, and in the previous part of our code we have created one variable called form key, and we will be pasting this key here. Okay, and then child will be column, and here will be children, column, and here we will write children, and we will be having several children, and all the form fields of our checkout screen will be inside these children. All right, so the first input field will be build text input field, and here let us write your name, and the controller will be like your name. Oops, so we have made one mistake, and that is we have to bind this thing with one widget. so that's fine. And but still we can see one issue here, and that is missing of one widget. So let us create the class build text input field, and we will go to our guide and let us copy this code and paste it here. And now let us check this thing, and now I can see that the input field issue has now been resolved. But here we have to work with our controller. We will be defining the controller as well, and between two text input fields we will give one gap, and we will achieve it with the help of the size box. And let us give the gap of 10 here. And next we will also create one new text editing field or text input field. Here we will be using mobile, and same size box of 10. Again we will use your mobile, then your district or your state, and here we will write as your state. And the last thing which we will do here is to give your address. Okay, so let us define your address. And the last thing would be, okay, so let's use some more height here. And last we will be using one elevated button, which we have already discussed earlier. And there will be one onPressed function and child. And later on we will be, okay, instead of later on, we can even design the, or we can make the functions of this elevated button right now. For that, let's use this function onPressed, and here we will define the values, and the child will be text and submit. Okay, and inside the onPressed function we will now define, and we will tell Flutter to execute the code of this form. For that, if form key dot current state dot validate and here we will execute one function, and let us name that function as send data to server. Okay, so our next task would be to define the controllers. Here we have only named the controllers, and now we will define the name of the controllers here. So define controllers here, text editing controller space your name equals text editing controller. Again, text editing controller, your mobile, this will be text editing controller. Again, text editing controller, your state, text editing controller, your address will be text editing controller. Now let us check. We can see all the errors of the input fields now has been gone, and now we have to create this function send data to server. So let us create this function or create this method send data to server, and in our guide I have already given the code. Okay, so this is send data to server. We have to use async here. Let us use async, and now inside this method we have to create we have to check whether we have received the data or not, but we will achieve it only after sending the data via post. I think I forgot to give you the code of post here. Yeah, I forgot the thing. So for that we have to, or you can even scroll down and go to this method, and the name of this method is send data to server, and let us create the map for this data. And here we have name and mobile, state and address, and name controller dot text, mobile controller dot text. And here instead of name controller we have to write as name as your name, then mobile your mobile, then state your state, and address as your address. Dot text. Okay, your state dot text. Now here we have to use the HTTP request. Let us copy this code, and here I have used final await response, final response. So response is the variable, and here we are using await, I think. And now we are sending this data to one URL called boopers.tk/api/checkout.php, and after sending the data, if we receive the status code as 200, then here we will define what should be the next step of this screen, and if we do not get the status code as 200, then we will also define what should be done with this screen. So now I can see your name, your mobile, your state, and your okay, your mobile, your state, and your state. I have to go above once again, and here I have to write your address. Okay, that's all. Now what we will do, instead of your address we will give one drop down. All right, so for the drop down, let us go to this guide once again, and here we have to define the drop down default value, and for that I have created one string called selected state, and we will paste it here, selected state. And the next step would be to create the list of arrays of all the states. I think I have not given that code, and let us copy this code from here. This is the array which contains all the list of the states of India. Okay, you can simply copy it from here, from the article. And once we have done this, we can immediately go to our state or select state field, and we can copy it, build state dropdown, instead of this build input text field, and we have to create the class as well. We have to go down, and in the last class, sorry, in just before some time, so we have created one widget for build text input field. Now we have to create one more widget for build state dropdown, and that we will achieve with the help of this code. We have to create this another widget, and let us paste this code here, and value selected state. We have to create this variables, local variables. So instead of creating some local variables here, let us copy the widget, enter widget, and we will paste this widget just above the array of our states. Now all the errors have now been gone, and let us open this one, and now I can see all the states have now been published, and we are now ready to send data to our PHP API. But we have to do some more tests once again, and we have created the final form. This variable is for the form, and selected state, this is for the list of drop down. Then build step drop down, this is the widget for our drop down. Then we have defined the text editing controllers, and your state, your address, all have now been done. So the last thing which we have not done is to create the dispose method, and now we'll be creating the dispose method. So let's write override and void the space dispose, and here inside this curly bracket we'll be defining all the keys. The first thing which we have to dispose here is your name dot dispose. Next your mobile dot dispose. Next your state dot dispose, and the last thing is to define the address dot dispose. Create the super dispose here. All done. Now we are ready. Okay, dot dispose. Okay, so let us go to our application and let us write some name here. Test mobile 1234, and then state, and then the address, and let us click on submit button. So though we are submitting the data, but we are not getting any response from the server. So if the status code is 200, then we will show, or we will print the response equals dollar else. We will write in this way, and now I can see here it's written that not found, the resource requested could not be found on the server. Okay, the last thing which we have to do here is to go to the last step of our PHP file. You can just go through all the documentation. I will simply copy the entire source code of this PHP file, and I will create a new file inside file manager, inside public underscore HTML and API, and I think we have given the name as checkout. Let us create one new file called checkout.php, and let us paste the code here, and $post name, mobile, state, and address. So we will have to check name, mobile, state, and address. Be sure you just go through all the name of these fields which you have mapped inside this method. And now if I just click on submit, I can see success equals to data inserted successfully. Okay, so here I can see that the data inserted successfully. I will go to my database, and here I can see the test and mobile, these two data have now been successfully inserted to our database, except your state and your address. So your state and your address, let us also check here your state and your address. Okay, so here we have done the mistake, your address. Let us now try submitting the data once again. Data submitted equal to true. Now the address has now been inserted. The last thing which we have to correct is to correct the state, your address. So let us check here your state. Let me remove it from line number 88, and let us go down. Here I can see your state. Instead of your state, let us write selected state, as we have already defined it, your state dot dispose, and from here let us remove it. So again I will try to submit the data and click on here. I can now see that all the data have now been successfully inserted. If I write my name here, if I write the mobile number here, and let us select the state and the address as well, and let us try to submit the data. I can see that submit, and here I can see that the status is success. And let us go to our database. Here I can see that my name, the mobile number which I have inserted, the state, and the address now has been successfully inserted to our database. So in the next class, we will be displaying this data into our admin panel. And I have one more announcement for you guys, and that is we have also introduced one more paid course of Flutter, where you will be learning UI design with Flutter, because several students of this series have asked me to create one detailed course for material design or to design the UI of the app. Next, we will be learning about HTTP connections, login, and authentication. Like in this mobile application which we are designing with this Flutter and PHP, we have not created any login screen, we have not created any registration screen. So how can we create the login screen here, and how can we set the shared preferences? Like if someone logs into our application, they should not be logged out automatically until they reset the phone or delete the app or click on logout button. Then we will also be learning about file handling, taking photos by camera and upload the photos into our server, then recording videos directly like we do on Instagram or YouTube. We'll also be learning about live video call and live audio call. We'll also be learning how to play live video calls or live videos. We'll also be learning how to record audios and how to play audios like Spotify. We'll also be learning about GPS coordinates like Swiggy, Zomato, these apps does. And we'll also be learning about Google Map tracking. Google Map tracking is something like which we see the application of Google Map, where we can see where exactly we are on the map. We can also learn about SMS notification and push notification. Every time someone sends you a message on WhatsApp, you will receive one push notification. Then we will learn how to use the vibration function. If you want to display or vibrate the mobile of a user, how can you do it? We'll also be learning about alarm system, background task like the application of Spotify. If we use Spotify, we can just close or we can just minimize the Spotify app, but the music of the Spotify app keeps on running on the background. We'll also be learning about charts and visualization. If you are familiar with stock market and the apps like Zerodha or the apps like Grow, Kubera, then you can see several charts there. We'll also be learning about that. We'll also be learning about payment gateways like Paytm, Razorpay, Instamojo, CC Avenue. How can we integrate those payment gateways onto our app? We'll also be learning about publishing. If you have made one app for Android, how can you publish that app into the Android Play Store? If you have made the app for iOS, you can also publish the app to Apple App Store. And if you make an app for the purpose of Chrome or for browsers, then you can also publish the app to Firebase, which is a product of Google. All right, so all these things are included into one single course. It is a very large course, but for the time being, we are offering this course only at 9911 at rupees 9,999 instead of 50,000. All right. So our motive is just to onboard just a few students. Like, I'm not sure about the numbers, but I won't be teaching so many students this course. And this course will be totally recorded course, and 3 classes will be released every week. There will be 2 months of course. This course will complete within the 31st of December itself. And as we have discussed about Android App Store, Android Play Store, Google iOS App Store, and Firebase console. So if we learn Flutter, we can build Android, iOS, and web application only with one single code base. I have discussed earlier. So the app which we are designing with this IDE, okay, so we can simply convert this app into Android, we can simply convert it into iOS, and we can also convert it into web. Even we can convert it to Linux applications and Mac operating systems as well, but we won't be learning about that. our primary purpose of of our paid course is to learn about Android, iOS, and web application. Thank you for watching this video. Soon I will be uploading the next part of this video. I have already completed all the recordings, and now just a few tasks like editing the videos are left, and I will try to publish all the other videos within the next 10 days. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.